Hello everyone, today I'll be showing you how to create your own personal VPN server using SoftEther VPN. I'll be basically following my article on opensourcehustle.com, which I'll have the link in the description. I've personally used this VPN server while working remotely in Russia. As you know, lots of services are blocked in Russia and even some VPN providers stopped working in Russia. But SoftEther VPN still works, and that is because it's mimicking regular HTTPS traffic. This VPN server worked on Windows, on macOS and iOS. Unfortunately, the new Android devices do not support L2TP VPN connection. Other than that, it works on all other devices. So let's go to the prerequisites. So we'll need an Ubuntu server. I'm using Ubuntu 24 for the long-term support. Everything in this tutorial is run using the root user. And of course, we'll need internet and some hustle. So let's start with creating the Ubuntu server. I'll be using Vultr to create the server. It's very simple to use and the pricing is super clear. Also, I'll have a referral link in the description for Vultr where you can get $300 to try out their services. I'm gonna pick shared CPU, Frankfurt, operating system. I'm gonna pick Ubuntu, 24 long-term support. Then at the bottom, I'm gonna pick one CPU and 1 gig of RAM, and that's only for $6 a month. And this is also AMD high performance. You could go with regular cloud compute and just create the server for $5. I'm gonna keep IPv6 checked, and I'm gonna remove auto backups as this will be a temporary server. And for the host name, I'm gonna call it SoftEther VPN tutorial, and I'm gonna click deploy now. Let's log in to the server by opening the terminal. If you're a Windows user, you could use git bash, and I'm gonna do ssh root at IP address, copy the IP address of the server, paste it, enter, fingerprint yes, the password, I'm gonna use the default password, copy it, paste it, and I'm in the server. Let me update the server, apt update, and let's update the server, apt upgrade. Now with the server updated and upgraded, let's download the SoftEther VPN package. In the tutorial, I have the official download page. Let's click on it. Let's select the component, SoftEther VPN server. I'm using Linux. CPU, I am using Intel AMD 64-bit. Now let's copy the link address. I'm gonna go back to the tutorial, and we could download the package by running the following command, wget and the download link. Let's click enter. Let's list the directory's content, and we can see that we downloaded the SoftEther VPN server. Next step is to extract the SoftEther VPN package. That is done by running tar xzvf and the package name, which is soft. I'm gonna click tab to autocomplete and click enter. I'm gonna list the contents, and we can see that there is a new directory, VPN server. Let's enter that directory by running cd VPN server. Let me list the contents. Make sure we are inside, and now we need to execute make. Just type in make, enter. It is recommended to move the VPN server directory into the user local directory. So let's do that. Let's move one step back, cd ... and let's move the VPN server directory into the user local directory. Now we can list the contents of the new directory just to make sure it moved successfully. And now we need to set the correct permissions. So let's enter the new directory and run the following chmod commands. Now we're gonna check if SoftEther was installed correctly, and that is done through the VPN CMD. Let's make sure we are in the VPN server directory, and let's execute the VPN CMD. Here we're gonna select the third option, use of VPN tools. So I'm gonna click 3, click enter. Then I'm gonna write check, click enter, and it is running a system health check. And we can see that the command completed successfully. So let's proceed with the next step. I'm gonna exit VPN CMD, and we are going to create a startup script. This will allow our VPN server to run continuously even after reboot. Let's create the VPN server.sh file, and I'm gonna paste the following directories inside this file. And I'm going to save this file, save modified buffer, yes, enter, and set the correct permissions. I'm gonna run the chmod command. Now we need to create the systemd config file. Let's do that. And we are going to paste the following directives. Command X, yes, and we should be able to enable VPN server, start it, stop it, and check its status. Let's enable the VPN server. This will allow the VPN server to run on system startup. Let's start the VPN server. Let's check the status on the VPN server. And we can see that it is running without any errors. Now the SoftEther VPN server is managed using hubs. So let's create our first hub. Let's make sure we are in the correct directory. And let's enter the VPN CMD. So let's select option 1, management of VPN server or VPN bridge. Hostname of IP address of destination, keep it empty, enter. Specify virtual hub name. We haven't created the hub yet, so just click enter. And as you can see, we have administrator privileges for the entire VPN server. First of all, we need to set the administrator password, as it will be required when creating the hub. So let's run the server password set command, and let's create a password. Make sure you remember this. Now let's create our first hub. I'm gonna be using the same naming as in the tutorial, but you could change the hub name. So hub create test hub. Now you need to enter the administrator's password and the hub should be created. Let's access it by running hub test hub. And we can see that we are inside the hub. In order for devices to get internet access and get an automatic IP address, we need to enable SecureNat. Let's copy the command and paste it. The command completed successfully. Now we need to enable IPSec. This will allow the VPN server to support IPSec based connections. So let's copy this command and paste it. Here you'll be prompted a few things. Enable L2TP over IPSec server function. Yes. Enable row is not required. Click no. Enable Ether IP, also not required. Click no. Pre-shared key for IPSec. Create a string here that is 9 letters or less. I'm gonna call it test key. Enter. And we need to select the hub. The hub we created is called test hub. So that's what I'm gonna write, test hub. Make sure you write your hub name here and enter. Make sure you remember the pre-shared key, as that will be part of the requirements to connect to the VPN server when using iOS and macOS. Now let's create the hub user. That is done by running the user create command and then the username. I'm gonna keep it as user1. It will prompt you for additional details, which I'm gonna skip just by clicking enter. Then we are going to set the password for that user by running the user password set command. Make sure you remember this. And we are almost done. We have created everything we need in order to connect to this server. But there is one important step that we need to do, and that is disabling UFW, which comes by default enabled on Ubuntu systems. So let's run UFW status. And we can see that UFW is running and it's only allowing TCP traffic from port 22. On our server, we are using port 443. So either enable that using UFW or just simply disable UFW for now, which I'm going to do by running UFW disable. So now we could connect to this server. Let me jump to my Windows machine to show you how to connect to it using Windows. First of all, you need to download the SoftEther VPN client. Simply type SoftEther download on Google. Go to your first page, click on download SoftEther VPN, and this will take you to the download page. Select the SoftEther VPN freeware. For the components, select SoftEther VPN client, and for platform, we're gonna select Windows. Then click on the download link. Then simply run the executable file and finish with the download. I have already done so I'm not gonna download it again. Here is the SoftEther VPN client. What you are going to do is click on connect and select new VPN connection settings. So you'll have this page. Put your IP address in the host name. Keep the port number as default 443. Once you put the IP address, automatically in the drop down you should see your hub. So select the hub that you have created. Then go to the user authentication settings, set the auth type to standard password authentication, put in the username and the password, and click OK. That's it. You should be able now to connect to the VPN server. Simply double click on it and it should connect to it. As you can see, the status is connected. Let's make a quick test. To test the connection, let's try to open something that is blocked. In my case, I am living in Jordan and TikTok is blocked. So let's see if we can open TikTok. That's it for Windows. And now let me show you how to connect to it using macOS. I'm gonna click on the Wi-Fi icon, click on network preferences. I'm gonna click on the plus icon, create a new service. For the interface, I'm gonna select VPN. The VPN type, we are using L2TP over IPSec. Service name, I'm gonna call it SoftEther VPN server and create. For the server address, we need to put the server's IP address. So here is my server's IP address, the account name, the user that we created inside the hub, it's user1. Now let's click authentication settings. Let's type in the user's password here. And for the shared secret, we need to put the pre-shared key that we have created when enabling IPSec, which in my case was test key, capital key. I'm gonna click OK, apply, and I'm gonna click connect. And we can see that we have connected to the SoftEther VPN server. As for the iOS devices, it's fairly simple. You're gonna go to settings, VPN, and add a VPN configuration. You're gonna select L2TP for the type option, add a description, add the server IP in the server field, add the hub username in the account field, and add the password in the password field. In the secret field, again, you will add the pre-shared key which we created when we enabled the IPSec option, and it should look similar to this. Also, at the end of the article, I have a ChatGPT tip. Unfortunately, ChatGPT does not give accurate results when it comes to SoftEther VPN. You'll need to provide it with additional information. To get better results with ChatGPT, paste all the up-to-date commands to it when inquiring about something. For example, right now I'm in the test hub and I'm gonna write help, click enter, and this will give me all the available commands. I'm gonna copy them and I'm gonna include them with my question when asking ChatGPT. For example, how to get hub details inside SoftEther VPN CMD, and then I'm gonna put here are all the available commands, and I'm gonna paste them. So it's telling me that I could use the status get command to get all the details regarding the virtual hub. Let's check that. I'm gonna copy this command, paste it, enter. We can see the details: virtual hub name, test hub. We can see that the SecureNat is enabled and a bunch of other details. Another important detail that I'd like to mention is that there is a bandwidth limit on these servers. The bandwidth limit is usually not mentioned while creating the server, and you need to check the bandwidth limit based on the server sizing and the provider that you are using. So make sure you check that if you are planning to use the VPN server heavily or include lots of users in it. So that's it with this tutorial. Thank you for watching.